Yes, it's not easy. Sometimes I really feel like I'm by myself and it's too heavy, too hard to continue. When you're an entrepreneur, every 2 days you say, okay, let's give up. But then the day after, you have a client texting you on Instagram saying, oh, I just received my jumpsuit and I loved it. And it makes you continue the adventure.
This is Gloneration Podcast, conversations around the new generation of global talents and brands. Ciao, I'm your host, Simona Lodolo. Every 2 weeks, together with an international guest, we'll embark on a journey to explore what it means to be a leader in today's ever-connected and constantly evolving world. My guests, managers, entrepreneurs, and stand-out figures from around the globe, are shaping the future of culture, economics, and society. Their stories, experiences, and visions are here to inspire the new generation, the Gloneration. Here we go again. Thanks for being with me and for following the Gloneration Podcast. Today, I'm so happy to have a wonderful entrepreneur here with me, someone whose kindness, elegance, and simplicity have been a light in my Chinese days. Félicie Corre, founder of Chinoises. Ciao Félicie, bonjour, welcome.
Bonjour. Thank you, Simona. I'm happy to talk to you.
So you are from Paris, but you lived in Shanghai for more than 10 years. After almost 15 years working with in the Hermès press department, you decided to combine your experience in luxury, your passion for communication, travel and fashion, and reinvented Chinese crafts and founded your own brand, Chinoises. Can you tell us the path that brought you until being an entrepreneur?
Shall I start? My experience with Hermès was wonderful, of course. It was my first job. I was quite young when I joined the company in Paris. Then I moved to China with Hermès and stay with the company 6 more years, so in total 15 years, as you said. It was a wonderful experience. They taught me a lot about colors, subtlety, details, communication, the way to combine creativity, but also good ideas, new ideas. It was a wonderful experience, both in Paris and then in China. Of course, different experience, because even if it was the same company, the team were totally different. In Paris, with a wonderful French team. My boss were in fashion forever, quite strong personalities in fashion. And then I moved to China with the communication team was more than 20 person, very young Chinese people. I was one of the oldest. My boss was from Shanghai. She is still great, but really like businesswoman, quite different from what I used to know in Paris. So I learned different things, but it was perfect to complete my background. But after 15 years, I was more and more willing to do something by myself. I was really happy to promote one of the best brands in the world, for sure. But I was more and more attracted by the culture I was discovering in Shanghai and the traveling in China. And I was willing to create. This is how I took this crazy decision to quit Hermès. And I decided to start my own brand, inspired by Chinese craft, but twisting craft with my Parisian taste.
Yeah, and you can definitely see in your results, amazing results. I'm a fan of Chinoises, and I think many of our community were also fan of your brands, because it really reflects your incredible taste and your attention for details. But see, I'm very curious about your beginning. I know you also have a personal, interesting story about your childhood, your family in Paris.
My family, both my father and my mother's sides, are quite special. First, my parents met. They were both working for Kenzo. At this time, we were in the 70s. So Kenzo was a very young Japanese designer starting his brand in Paris. And both of my parents were working for him. And this is how they met. But this time it was really like a team of friends spending a lot of time together, partying, going for vacation together, and working with this great designer. This is how they met. So I was like a Kenzo baby. They were both from quite bourgeois family. Let's say that bourgeois, but always very different, because all my grandparents were at least married twice. So in the 50s, it's quite special, right? In France, my grandmothers, they were both quite free women, ready to do anything, no matter what people thought. They were, yes, both from art, fashion, but also from journalism. And so I said bourgeois, but my grandpa from my father's side, he was really from the deep countryside, and then came to Paris and finally started quite a more comfortable life. And we were always very proud of those countryside origin. What I want to say, that mix of art, culture, fashion, and yes, people with strong personalities.
Yeah, you were also modeling when you were a kid, weren't you?
Yes, for Toscani, right? For Benetton. In the 80s, the fashion industry was so different. It was more like a big community of friends. So at this time, the agent of Toscani was a friend of my mom, ex from Kenzo as well. So she was just calling my mom saying, "Oh, hi, would Félicie be available next week for a shooting with Oliviero Toscani?" And and this is no casting, nothing like this. And I was just coming for the shooting, and it was like every season, but a great souvenir. I mean, I loved it. He was quite impressive to me. He always said, "Félicie, you don't smile." We were supposed to be like this. And I was always very happy to have crazy hair, styling and makeup and a great look. And I did many seasons, mainly for Benetton, but not only. Also with him for Elle magazine in France. And no, it's a great souvenir. But as I say, it was the perfect time. It was fun. Then my mom was a fashion editor working for Marie Claire. So after Kenzo, she started being in this part of the fashion industry, going to fashion shows. Of course, fashion was part of our life at home. We were always talking about, "Oh, have you seen the new collection of this designer? And look what I received from this man." My mom, of course, had some gifts. It was always like the main topic at home.
And if you were already working, for example, in Hermès, we need to decide, okay, no, I want to make it global. I want to step somewhere else, because you live in Paris. It's a beautiful city. Your friends, your family, everyone is there. Fashion also. What brought you there? What made you think, okay, I go?
Actually, I think we're taken a bit like this. All of a sudden, I was working for Hermès in Paris, working on fashion shows and all the press relations. And one day I was in the metro going to work, and my husband called me saying, "Oh, my boss," he was working for Accor Hotels at this time, he just told me, "Would you like to go to China?" What are you saying? China? And actually, on the same day, we were having dinner together, and we said, "Let's go." It's just a great adventure. We were 30-somethings with two very small kids, 6 months and 3 years old. And yes, and we say, "Let's go." Anyway, we are working for Hermès and Accor, and every month we are struggling to pay everything at the end of the month. So let's try. It will be a great adventure for our kids, for us, and maybe Hermès will hire me. And they did. And if we don't like, we just go back home, and that's it. We were young and crazy, and we say, "Okay, it's now or never." So this is, I told my boss in Hermès in Paris, I say, "I'm so super happy working for you. It's been 9 years in Hermès Paris, but we have this opportunity. I would be happy to join the Hermès team in China if you have any position for me, but anywhere I'll go." They had this position for me. So then I start working for Hermès China.
Finding a spot, especially for a foreigner at the time, was not so easy. I think it was important and a very nice recognition of.
Yes.
And then another big turning point with Chinoises. Can you tell us a little bit when and what made you turn, okay, I want to do exactly what you did, which is not just, okay, I want to do something by myself, make some clothes. You did something very special.
Yeah, actually, living in China, working for Hermès, I was traveling around and discovering this beautiful culture and more willing to adapt to wear it. I was like, I love this beautiful embroidery, but how to wear them? I mean, I won't wear this very traditional jacket. It's not appropriate. I would like this, but with a different shape. And so I can mix it with my jeans and leather pants or all my stuff I have in my closet. Same for home. I love this beautiful fabric from the batik from the Miao people, for example, with indigo colors. But I don't want something in my home that would look like a hippie style, brought back from China. I want something more contemporary, modern. So it came quite naturally. I started doing it for myself, like the Chinese jacket with the traditional brocade with dragon. I was like, okay, I would love to have this jacket, but I want it to be more modern, more Parisian. This is how I made it with denim on one side, brocade on the other side, more tight, shorter, and reversible. This is how I started doing the brand. Same for the chairs, the armchairs I was doing.
Which I love. I
Thank you.
I try to buy every time, and now since you do a very limited
I
edition,
have some in Paris now.
I love them. They are so special.
Yeah, thank you. So yes, it was really my natural attraction, natural desire of a Parisian girl in China, willing to adapt this beautiful craft and promote them, but with my French twist.
You were already busy working, a busy mom. Life in Shanghai is not easy, it's stressful, is not full time, is double full time. Of course, you were expert in fashion, but you were working in the press, so media, relationship. But with Chinoise, you had to do everything: the design, the sourcing of materials. So what part was the very pain with this Chinoise adventure at the very beginning and maybe growing
And
up?
still, communication is quite natural to me and I like it. So this is really the part I can do anywhere, from my bed to the subway, from vacation or anywhere. And creation as well. This is something I really like, but I don't have the background of a designer. So I really do it my own way, which is really my own way, let's say. But the people I work with, I mean, the supplier, the craftsmen, they understand it, and that's great. That's wonderful. To me, what's more challenging is really like strategy, developing the finance and commercial development. This is really hard. But yes, I'm doing everything from logistic to production check and everything. It's not easy at all, I have to say. But again, I think one of my strengths is really the way I don't want to be too stressed. I protect myself by not really realizing how serious can be the challenge sometimes. Same for taking this decision to go to China. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's have this brand. Let's create be entrepreneur. Not really thinking about the consequences and everything. Just feeling my attraction, feeling my passion.
That's really inspiring. I had an interview with Claire Chung, and she was discussing and having the same thought about money. She raised it for so no attachment. Your approach is very light.
Light or crazy? It's a mix of both, actually.
Yeah, but honestly, I think you're not just a global talent. That's why you are here for the interview, but also Chinoise. I consider it a global brand because you have clients and fans. I have to say that you really have Chinoise has fans all over the world.
Yes, because it starts in the international community in China. Then people travel and go back to their country someday. It's quite funny. I agree with you because they will purchase like a pillowcase or chair or a jacket or a jumpsuit, but then they will move back to their country or move to another country. So they will take their stuff and then it spread the Chinoise product everywhere in the world.
Everywhere. I'm so in your Instagram or in your communication, you can see people wearing it and taking pictures. Very nice spot everywhere. So you have really like a natural influencer and fans. Some other turning points after Chinoise that you had, because you went back to Paris at some point.
Yes, it was already more than 3 years. I started Chinoise when I moved back to Paris. And then I said, yes, let's continue the brand here in Paris, working with my team in China, but developing the brands here. And let's see how people like it here in France, here in Europe. It was 2021, so right in the middle of COVID or right after. And I'm like, hey, yes, my brand name is Chinoise. So it was a bit challenging, but you know what? I never faced any client trying to challenge me on this name, on the origin of the product. Chinoise is proudly made in China, and this is really something I don't hide. I'm the opposite. It's really part of the DNA of the brand. People never challenge me on the country or the China side of the brand. I think people know that China is not only about fast consumption, and I mean all this factory made in China that we don't really like. China is also about silk, embroidery, beautiful craft, ethnical minorities with their own culture and all the know-how. So it was quite interesting to see how people react, and it was quite positive. But now I'm still working with the brand in France, but willing to get inspiration from other countries, not only China. So this is why I'm changing the name of the brand. I'm doing it slowly. So the name is Chinoise by Voyageuses. Voyageuses mean female travelers. So I keep the female adjective like Chinoise and plural, but it's about voyageuses, like traveling around. So the idea is to have a wardrobe of the voyageuses, of a traveler, like with the jumpsuit and jackets and some shirt like that you can wear anywhere for traveling, but also every day in your city. And then you will have some capsules from every country that I get inspiration from. It could be China, it could be Tunisia. I just started with Tunisia. It could be anything.
You made it even more difficult because now once you settle the brand, you have to find, your suppliers, your everything, And now that you found it, you somehow tested and it worked. Okay, let's start another country.
Yes. Let's do that. It's my lightness and my craziness.
It's very nice, this turning point, because it's, again, an example of how opening up always brings to further opening up. Something more maybe hard in your path. Have you ever had any failure or felt any failure, and how you embrace it, how you face it?
Yes, I did. For example, when I start the brand Chinoise, at the beginning I was by myself. Then I asked a friend to do it with me, which was a friend from Shanghai. She was French as well. And she really helped me to kick off the brand because I didn't have this business skills that we need when we start a company. She really helped me this way. But after several months, we realized that we were really not on the same page. In the development of the company, the way we wanted to invest our entire life or not in the brand, we decided to split. She decided to quit. And it was really not easy. This was beginning of 2020. Right in the middle of COVID. This was really like a divorce to me. This is how I felt it. When we decided and we started the discussion about how to split, this was really tough, really. And it lasted for 7 months. But once I pay what she wanted me to pay and everything, I was ready to do it by myself. and it was completely fine.
So what made you do, okay, no, I move on. No fear, I go. When you have a partner, you share the good, but you also share the bad. You know that you have some support. But being by yourself,
thanks to my crazy side again. Yes, it's not easy. Sometimes I really feel like I'm by myself and it's too heavy, too hard to continue. When you're an entrepreneur, every 2 days you say, okay, let's give up. But then the day after, you have a client texting you on Instagram saying, oh, I just received my jumpsuit and I loved it. And it makes you continue the adventure. It's all about this. But I still, ideally, I would like to have a partner taking care of all this finance business side. That this is a call, this is an announcement. But yes, I'm really ready to leave all this part to someone to take care of it, and I just trust him or her. I handle the rest.
So, Félicie, talking about all the multicultural environment, people, the teams, client that you had, how do you handle and how do you stay adaptable and open-minded to different cultures while doing your brand or while working in Hermès as well?
You mean in the way I communicate?
In general, because it's not easy to adapt to clients from different nationalities, suppliers from different nationalities, especially those that you pick, because they are very traditional. They barely know sometimes what the modern fashion is, because they're proudly doing their traditional embroideries and craftsmanship. So how do you balance different culture?
I think you, as I did, we were really used to be flexible. This is the main skill we need, but I'm not talking about me only. I know you were the same. I mean, it's all about being flexible with different culture, open-minded to understand the way they work, the way they think. But I suppose what we did working with media was also a way to get used to this, because when you work with media, you try to understand what they want, what they think. Same for artistic director. You want to balance the relation between, for example, the interviewee and the interviewer. You have media talking to an artistic director and you are the one to organize the interview, and you want everything to be okay and everyone to be happy. So you are the one to balance everything, right? This is something we know as PR, and then working with different culture, it's the same actually. It's all about understanding what this lady from a village in the south of China works, and what I want for example, for a belt made with her embroidery. I'm like, okay, I love what she's making, but it won't be acceptable if I ask her to change the design. So let's see what she can do, she can make, and let's see what I like, and then let's find the right balance together. It's all about balance and flexibility, I would say. And same for communication or creating different product for my clients. But I think for my clients, I was more following my own taste more than trying to fit other tastes. Yes, it's all about a style, which is quite European and French. So then it worked.
Yeah, but I know your clients, some of them, and they're used to buy luxury brands, very well known, very expensive. So I know the taste and the expectations. So have you ever felt maybe I need to change that to please my clients?
I think I have the same expectation as my client because I was raised with Hermès style and Hermès, how do you say, exigence? Like it's all about the details, and you want to do nice things. So my expectations are quite high.
I also want to share with a very nice prize and achievement that you got. In 2020, you received the first prize of China Intangible Cultural Heritage for the collection you made with Miao minorities from Guizhou, the South China province. Really, congrats.
It was an honor to get this prize. For me, working with those minorities is always a great experience, and I loved it. It's not that difficult. Sometimes they are looking at me saying, how can you be with these Miao people from the village in the mountain? How can you manage to do this? It's not that difficult. On the opposite, I love it. It's maybe more exciting than working with a workshop in Shanghai. I was really proud because it was given by a jury of journalists and university teacher from China.
Can you tell me, if you have to recommend young people or even professional who wants to start a new global career, 3 traits that you think are crucial for a global career now?
I'm not sure I'm the right person to give this
Yes,
advice. But for sure, adaptability, flexibility is really something that helps us. And I think, Simona, you know that as I do. And to be open-minded, no matter what people think, no matter what you can imagine people think, just follow your passion, your instinct. Those are, I think, the main skills.
Someone yesterday asked me, but now that you do this project, now being abroad, what do you think made people go abroad? Is it money? Because everyone thinks that, okay, now people go expat somewhere else because of earn more money. So they only see this aspect of going abroad, working abroad.
To me, it was not money. It was more like to live this adventure and to get out of the traditional path all the Parisian people have around in my community. I was willing to do something different. And now when I'm with people that only look like me, I feel strange, right? Because we are used to be with different people, because it's so interesting for us to live in a different country. Even after 10 years in China, I'm still learning a lot from them, from their culture. I'm still discovering beautiful things in Shanghai when I'm walking around or with my bicycle or meeting people. I love discovering different cultures. Of course, Paris is one of the most beautiful cities in the world, but it's more exciting to me to live in a different country, different cities with different culture. It's much more interesting.
But aren't you afraid sometimes to do some even communication mistakes, especially with this Voyageuses turning point of Chinoises? Have you ever felt, should I say that, like the fear of doing some mistakes? Or if you have any story about you made a mistake and how you fixed it?
Actually, not that many. I think Chinese people were quite open-minded in the way, and they were quite nice with us Europeans trying to promote their cultures. They were so happy to have this collaboration with me. I don't really remember any. I did at the beginning with maybe more in the enterprise, in the company setup. For example, when you join China, Hermès China, and the way people sit in the meeting room, and we French or Italian, we are like talking to everyone, sitting anywhere. But in China, everything is so organized. This side is for this company, the other side is for the boss. This kind of stuff, maybe.
Let's think about the Gloneration Masterclass. This is a teacher within your experience. What subject would you teach to young talents?
Yes, the idea is really to follow your feeling without thinking of what people would think about you. It's like when I'm in meeting some people from the mountain, I look at their fabric, I look at their craft. It's all about following my taste. I don't care about anyone else, what people would think about this. It's all about following your intuition.
Great. Now, a Gloneration game. So I will tell you some areas or life skills, and you just need to tell me whether you feel global or local. And if you feel local, you can also say like French or Italian or Chinese. For example, food, global or local?
Italian, but not French. More Italian than French, actually.
That's curious. Education?
Global.
Sport?
Global.
Family?
French.
Creativity?
Global.
Art and culture?
Global.
Or appearance?
Global.
Design?
Global.
Music?
Global.
Movies?
Global as well.
Holidays or destinations?
Well, global.
Time management?
Oh my God, I'm very French for that.
Problem solving?
French.
Empathy?
Global.
Emotional intelligence?
French.
Leadership style?
French.
Strategic thinking?
Not very strategic. Global, let's say, a mix of everything.
Looking for a partner?
Yes.
Team management?
Team management or global? Oh, French.
Okay. What is next for you, Félicie?
Not only working with China, but also different countries for the brand, but also at the same time continuing some consultancy for luxury brands, which is something actually I started in China with Liègre. We worked together on this, but now I'm also working with Globetrotter. So it's always linked with traveling. The Globetrotter is this luxury brand of suitcase from England. Beautiful products. So I'm doing communication for them, also for Soft Heart. Soft Heart is a new brand of cashmere from Inner Mongolia in China. It's beautiful, handmade and sustainable, and I'm supporting them for France. So yes, trying to find the balance with my baby, my brand, and those missions that I love, because I love meeting people. I love to be in touch with other teams, other brands, other spirits, other of working, because it's not easy to be by yourself.
And let me add one more question linked to this. How do you think the fact of being an entrepreneur and being a consultant affect in a good and in a bad way each other?
Being a consultant will help me to have this link with other teams and people that I sometimes don't have when I work by myself on my brand. So I'm happy to be in touch with a team from Globetrotter and having this big meeting with them, brainstorming all together, or just traveling around in Inner Mongolia with the Chinese team of Soft Hearts. This is great. When I'm working as a consultant, sometimes it's much more easy than being entrepreneur, because first it's service. You don't have to pay for production, your stock and everything. It's much more light in the kind of human investment and money investment as well. But then, of course, working for another brand which is not yours is not as exciting as working for your own baby. What I like with Chinoises, and this is why I quit Hermès, is what I was willing to create by myself. And when you have an idea for communication or for something, you are always happy to be able to do it for your own baby, better than another brand. Yeah.
I think being an entrepreneur help in a consultancy career, because then you talk to any stakeholder, any level, because you experience yourself. Like if you are a PR or communication manager, you're of course an expert of that, but you haven't experienced some
production, logistics.
And you always feel like, do I understand what they're talking about? If you never went through that path, of course you don't, because you don't know. You maybe assume, you study, or you never experience that. While I think you have this big advantage of knowing the entire process.
Yeah, it's true.
I think as soon as you keep the brand, it's your heritage. It's your own project. But when you work with someone else, you have also this responsibility to teach someone else that maybe you don't see, but you are changing the future or the career of someone else by doing that.
Maybe.
Thank you very much, Félicie. Merci beaucoup. You've been an amazing guest, and it was very nice to go through our common past and fascinating listening to your story and the evolution of your career and the brand. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Simona.
So, what to say, guys? I'm really grateful to my guests for being so authentic and open to sharing their stories. They are making such a difference in this project of Gloneration. If you haven't done yet, follow Gloneration on your podcast platform. Leave your comments and suggestions. And if you can, share your favorite episode with your friends. Discover more about Félicie, Chinoises, and her stories, and all my amazing guests on our website, gloneration.com. And in the next couple of weeks, another great episode of Gloneration. Ciao. Thank you so much.
Merci.